welcome to Laugh or Learn with Caleb P. Jones. That's me. Now, this is my very first episode that you guys are listening to. I'm very excited. I'm too excited. I'm thinking I'm going to pump these out every day. That's probably not going to be the case. It's going to be once a week. What is this about, you ask? Well, it's kind of about me, and it's a lot about you. So I want you guys to get something out of this. I'll be talking to expats who live in Saigon, and we'll be discussing comedy or improv or acting or cross-dressing or beer or whatever. The local scene, the local community in Saigon and Greater Vietnam. We'll be talking about that stuff. Yeah. Now, the title is Laugh or Learn, and I hope that's what I always want to be doing. Every day, all day, I want to either be laughing or learning or other stuff. I'm happy with the title. I'm happy with it. I like it. It's good. It's a title I came up with a few years ago, and I wanted to do a podcast a few years ago, but I put it off. I'm sure a lot of people have done that now, but late is better than never. And I keep having other people inside my head just talking to me. Get it done, do it. Oh, speaking of people inside my head, Lars Callio. He's a famous Canadian comedian. Yes, it's a tongue twister. And he came to Saigon. He did a small show here, and super nice guy, super nice, He's a great comedian, and he was very open with comedy and advice, and he really helped us out, Ben and I, and any of the other comedians that he talked with as well. And I remember having him on the podcast. He was nice enough to do that, and his ability to speak conversationally in a podcast, being recorded on video, so natural, and he had stories and jokes, and he just boom, boom, boom. Very, very quick thinker. And I remember thinking about that, and then watching the video and listening to me. And I'm not really saying a whole lot, which is good, right? You want the guests to do most of the talking, but I feel like I just wasn't adding in much to the conversation. And so, he invited us to call in to his radio show that he has in Edmonton, Canada. And I really wanted to do it. That was a great, nice offer, but I'm scared to call in. I don't want to make a fool of myself. I don't want to make his show look bad. So I want to be doing this podcast to help get better, more entertaining, be educational. Because, if you can position yourself to where you're doing something you enjoy, you're helping people, and hanging out with your friends, dude, that's really hard to beat. That's happiness right there. It's not the only thing, the happiness, right? You need other things, but maybe that's a component. Anyways, yeah, so I just think about him, and I want to be as good as him on the mic. He's really good. Oh, so good. So I gotta get better. But this is good, right? Doing this now, just practicing. Man, but I'm talking to myself, so it's kind of weird. Luckily, no one else is in the house, because if they were, I might feel kind of self-conscious and worried. But see, it feels like it's just you and me, just having a deep personal conversation. But we're not. I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to you. I don't know. I'm not making any sense. So I woke up pretty early today. Yeah, that's a good thing. And I have to do a storytelling workshop soon. I get to do a storytelling workshop soon. Those are always fun. And teaching story, it's an interesting thing, because you're constantly learning, right? The best teachers are always learning. So I'm always learning something new. And you come into this problem where you don't know how much of the new stuff you should teach, because maybe you don't know it well enough. And sometimes you'll try a new concept and you'll have a student ask a really good question and you don't know the answer. And then you look like an idiot. And that really sucks, which has happened to me several times. And when that does happen, I just go back to what I know. Really, there's really no other option, I guess. But with story, what's really interesting about it is when you learn story and you learn the structures and I guess techniques and the art form of it, you really analyze movies and books in a much different way. Or if anyone tells you a story, you're analyzing it. And at first, I thought that would drive me insane. Like, eventually, I'm just going to get really sick of doing this, and I'm not going to be able to stop it. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Now I enjoy all storytelling that much more when it's good. And then if it's bad, I get upset. I'm not an angry person. I don't get angry very often. But for some reason, when someone has a bad story, and I'm more forgiving in conversation. I'm much more forgiving. I'll probably change the topic though if you're telling a boring story. Sorry. But it's movies. Someone makes a movie and the story's bad. I get pissed. And I think it's because I know that to make a lot of these short films, it took a lot of people to do that. And you were thinking about everything else except the story. And then you made a bad fucking movie because the story sucked. Spend more time on the story. That's so important. Your script for any movie you want to do, it should read like a novel, like not exactly like that, but people shouldn't want to put it down. It should be a page turner. And if that's not happening, then keep working on the story. It's very common for movie scripts, to take 2 years. Granted, that's a full length film, but still, man, I don't know. I feel like if I watch a bad movie, I feel like it was a waste of my time, and I get upset at that. I've lost money before, and that's annoying, but it doesn't piss me off. Wasting my time piss me off. That's a button. That is a button of mine. I don't have the patience for that. But I'm getting on a tangent here. I'm getting angry. I'm sorry. I'm getting angry thinking about the bad movies I watched. And but there's also a lot of good movies. In Saigon, there's a lot of good movies. A lot of good indie filmmakers here, and man, they have a lot of passion and doing what they love, and very talented. Did I say that already? But that's an amazing thing to watch. It's amazing to watch a 20-year-old make an awesome movie here. You know, a lot of times self-taught maybe. It's so hard to make a movie. I need to make a movie. I was making microfilms. Those are fun. My stories were shit. My stories are shit. Yeah, now I'm complaining about other people's stories. But just read. If you just read a few books on story, man, you'll get better. Or if you even YouTube, just get that 3 acts. Get the 3 acts. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna be a good movie if you just have the 3 acts in there, but that's bottom line. That's the bare minimum. Like, if you don't have that, I'm not saying you should be shot. But I'm gonna think about it. You know, I'd want that punishment to be dealt with. I would not complain if it was. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. But just do the 3 acts, right? So if you ever read Poetics by Aristotle, I believe it's Aristotle. Makes me sound smart when I say his name, though, don't it? He wrote Poetics, and it says, the first act is empathy. Second act is fear. The third act, catharsis. And that means the release. And every movie has that. The fear part is usually the meat. This is very basic kind of structure, but that's where you should start. Like an engineer, start with the most basic principles and work up from there. And these are the 3 things you need in your story. Start there. Look at that first. Try and see that in the movies. and then expand once you have a good grasp of that 3-act. Yeah. Okay. So some of these I'll have a guest, and some of them it might just be me, if no one wants to come on. Now, I'm not entirely sure what to talk about when it's just me, right? Because I'll need to maybe talk about the news or something. I don't know. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And when I have guests on, I have them on for a reason. That's because I want to talk about them and learn about them. There's a lot of interesting people that live here, and this is a great excuse for me to just kind of interrogate them for a few minutes, probably around 20 minutes a pop. Guys and gals, I want to take you on an adventure. This will be an adventure worth riding along with. We'll go through deep valleys and high mountains and stuff. We'll tread water lightly. I don't know where I'm going with that. This will be good practice for me as I get to kind of vent about stuff that bothers me maybe, and I'll try and make it comedic. I'm not very funny, and I try to be funny sometimes, which is worse. That's the worst thing. That's the worst kind of human you can kind of hang out with, right? It's just someone who's trying to be funny. I hope that's not me. I say what I think is funny, and sometimes I laugh at my own jokes. And as a loyal audience member that you are, you'll have to come to terms with that, and I hope that's okay. Now, I know I'm coming off as very arrogant right now, but I'm just really self-conscious. so please bear with me. I'm very grateful that I finally have the equipment to be able to do this. That it kind of took me a while, and a lot of procrastination I had to fight through. I hope you guys, forgive me a little bit if everything isn't perfect. I promise you these will get better. I'll do my best to make each one better and better. And in a year, who knows? Maybe I'll be talking with Joe Rogan, as every podcaster dreams of doing. But to do that, well, I don't know if I want to do that, man. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. But you know what? Yeah, that's my goal. That is my goal, is to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. I know that makes me an idealist, a naive one at that. But hey, man, fuck it. I like his podcast. I like Joe Rogan. Well, why is it a weird goal for me to be on his podcast? I think that's a good goal. I think it's normal. Yeah, shoot for the stars, right? Okay, now I got things to think about. I don't know if I want to do it in a time frame either, because that might kind of ruin it. I need to have a good reason. I think I need to accomplish more. I suppose I need to achieve more goals that are closer to home for me. More personal goals. And then I can worry about, and not that going on his podcast is superficial, but it kind of is kind of an ego thing maybe. I don't know. Just a fan of the show. But there's prestige. There's a lot of prestige there. Yeah, it's probably affected my thinking. But fuck it. Yeah, it's one of my goals. Boom, baby. Guys, now you know what I want to accomplish. No, I want this is audience focused. I want you guys to be entertained. I want you to learn. I want you to laugh.
Беззаботное совершенство, символ радости и блаженства. В нашем мире представить сложно, он утерян так безнадежно. Все, чего нам так не хватает, серебристым туманом тает. И откуда-то каждый знает, что чудес вовсе не бывает. В театре сложных инсинуаций мы живем и не ждем сенсаций. Здесь сценарий пишет время, здесь у каждого роль как бремя.